saw a sign in heaven, 7 angels. Now, out of the temple came the 7 angels, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure bright linen, and having their chests girded with golden bands. They came out of the temple as though they had been there and had just received their instructions. We saw them in the first verse, and they were in heaven. Now they're in the temple, and they're coming out of the temple with their instructions and with the bowls of wrath. Same angels.
But they didn't get the bowls until verse 7.
Yes. They're given the bowls now in verse 7. But they were there in verse 1. They are clothed in pure white linen. Linen is the attire of service in the temple. They are clothed in that linen. That linen, the linen, as a side note that's not in my notes, but the Shroud of Turin is made of a very, very special linen that was made out of very specific fibers for the priestly class. It was made for the garments that the priests wore when they entered the temple. It was a pure white herringbone design linen. That's what the Shroud of Turin is made of. Just an interesting side note. Clothed in pure white linen. Where did I miss? Here it is. Pure, unspotted, unsullied, white, bright, shining. It implies much more than just innocence. It implies purity and strength. And having your breasts girt with golden girdles, it's a token of their dignity, of them being high up in the chain of command, if you will. These were very important angels. The golden band was a token of their dignity. The 4 beasts. These are the 4 living creatures that attend the throne. Remember, they came out of the temple. That's where the throne of the Father is. That's where the throne that is surrounded on each of the 4 points each of the 4 corners, with one, each of the 4 corners hosting one of the 4, we call them beasts. And I think that's kind of an awkward term. It's kind of.
Is that the one where one was like a lion's
Yes.
head and then
Yes.
the human?
Yes.
Okay.
Human and an eagle.
An eagle?
The term, yes.
Yeah, okay.
The term beast is kind of King Jamesian. It would have made more sense then than it does today. We don't use the word beast except for maybe some children's horror movies, or sci-fi movies maybe. But these were the 4 living creatures who attended the throne of God.
So they're not necessarily something that's scary. I think now
Oh, I think they're scary,
they're scary.
but I think they're also beautiful beyond comprehension,
They're created beings.
of a very high order. And
And it's really like the other way around. The lion looks like the cherub face, and the ox looks like the cherub face, and the eagle looks like the cherub's face. And we,
yeah. And my suspicion is that what we're really talking here about is they exist in dimensions that we don't. Or we exist in those dimensions, we're there, but we can't perceive them. And I think that's why their appearance is sometimes so awkward for us to describe, because we really don't have the capacity to envision 6 dimensions. So they're beasts in the King James sense. And the 4 living creatures give the 7 angels 7 golden bowls full of the wrath of God, who lives forever and ever. 7 golden vials. These are they're more like saucers, not like a cup or a pitcher. They're a flat, shallow saucer that you would use in the temple, in worship, and in the temple where they're just kind of a flat bowl. They are bowled, but they're not like a Jethro Bodine cereal bowl. They're often associated with functions in temple worship. The flatness, the shallowness, really indicates, in a sense, it indicates how these bowls are going to be poured out. You don't take a flat bowl and pour it out a little at a time. It doesn't work that way. They're poured. They're rapidly poured out. And that's the way this will happen. Maybe not instantly, but quickly emptied rather than slowly poured, drowning those who refuse to drink in the cup of salvation. The vials are from God because they are gold. The 7s show the completeness of it all. There are 7 vials. There are 7 angels. We find 7 all throughout Scripture. It's a completed number. The temple, in verse 8, was filled with the smoke from the glory of God and from His power, and no one was able to enter the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed. That fascinates me. The smoke of His glory intensely filled the temple, such that no one could go in there. His glory was too intense. The smoke of His glory too thick, too much to be handled. He stayed there until the bowls were poured out. The cloud of glory was a visible manifestation of God's presence in the tabernacle or temple. We've seen that all the way back to the Old Testament. It was a sign of protection at erecting the tabernacle and at the dedication of the temple. But in the judgment of Korah, the glory of the Lord appeared when he and his companions were swallowed up by the earth. His presence is awesome. Smoke from the glory of God expresses the execution of both judgment and favor. Smoke from the cloud of glory, smoke from the presence of God. Both judgment and favor, proceeding from the power of God, and in both He's glorified. He is absolutely glorified. And the temple was filled with smoke, and none, not even those who ordinarily stood before God, could go into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. Selah.
So, is He actually kind of like showing His glory and what's His glory, but then at the same time, He's not letting you come in yet until His wrath is done?
His presence is in His temple.
Okay, so He's in the temple now.
Yeah. And his presence is so strong there that you can't go there. You can't be there. And we've got a lot of examples of that from previous. And I think before we go on with that discussion, since we don't have all of that mic'd, I'm going to go ahead and tell Alex that it went pretty quickly tonight, but Chapter 15 was a short chapter, and we're done with it. So now we can have discussion time, and we'll end the thank you to anyone who has been here with us tonight on the live stream. May the Lord bless your evening.
Hello to Alana.
Hello, Alana. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He lift His countenance up upon you. May He make His face to shine upon you and give you peace. His peace. Not the peace of man, but His peace that passes understanding.